Sato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the Divine lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace.
Today we will be singing the song which Sri Ramakrishna loved very much. This song by the Brahmo singer Trailokanath Sanyal. It has been beautifully translated in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So the brief meaning of this song is: Thou art my all in all, O Lord, the life of my life, the essence of essence. In the three worlds I have none else but Thee to call my own. Thou art my peace, my joy, my hope. Thou my support, my wealth, my glory. Thou my wisdom, my strength. Thou art my home, my place of rest, my dearest friend, my next of kin, my present, my future, Thou, my heaven, my salvation. Thou art my scriptures, my commandments. Thou art my ever-gracious Guru, Thou the spring of my boundless bliss. Thou art the way, Thou art the goal, Thou the adorable one, O Lord. Thou art the mother, tender-hearted, Thou the chastising Father. Thou the creator and protector, Thou the helpsman, who though steer my craft across the sea of life. Natho tumi sarvosya amar. जय जय करुणाब्धे मोक्षसितो स्मरारे जय जय जगदीशा ज्ञानसिन्धो स्वयंभो जय जय परमात्मन् त्राहि जय जय भवहारिन् रामकृष्ण द्विबाहो जय जय भवहारिन् रामकृष्ण द्विबाहो। नाथो तुमी सर्वस्व आमार प्राणाधार साराचार। नाथो तुमी सर्वस्व आमार प्राणाधार साराचार। नाही नाही তোমাবিনে কেহ ত্রিভুবনে বলিবার আপনার। নাথ তুমি সর্বস্ব আমার, নাথ তুমি সর্ব শান্তি সহায় সম্বল সম্পদ ঐশ্বর্য জ্ঞান বুদ্ধি বল তুমি সুখ শান্তি সহায় সম্বল সম্পদ ঐশ্বর্য জ্ঞান বুদ্ধি বল তুমি বাসগৃহ আরামের স্থল তুমি বাসগৃহ আরামের স্থল আত্মীয় বন্ধু পরিবার নাহি তোমার বিনে কেহ ত্রিভুবনে নাহি তোমার বিনে কেহ ত্রিভুবনে বলিবার আপনার নাথ তুমি সর্বস্ব আমার নাথ তুমি সর্বস্ব আমার তুমি ইহকাল তুমি পরিত্রাণ তুমি পরকাল তুমি স্বর্গধাম তুমি শাস্ত্রবিধি গুরু কল্পতরু অনন্ত সুখের আধার তুমি ইহকাল তুমি পরিত্রাণ তুমি পরকাল তুমি স্বর্গধাম তুমি শাস্ত্রবিধি গুরু কল্পতরু অনন্ত সুখের আধার তুমি হে উপায় তুমি হে উদ্দেশ্য তুমি স্রষ্টা পাতা তুমি হে উপাস্য দণ্ডদাতা পিতা স্নেহময়ী মাতা ভবার্ণবে কর্ণধার তুমি ভবার্ণবে কর্ণধার নাহি তোমার বিনে কেহ ত্রিভুবনে নাহি তোমার বিনে কেহ ত্রিভুবনে বলিবার আপনার নাথ তুমি সর্বস্ব আমার প্রাণাধার সারাচার নাথ তুমি সর্বস্ব আমার নাথ তুমি সর্বস্ব আমার নাথ তুমি সর্বস্ব আমার।
I am reading from the book Memories of Maharaj by Vedanta Press. This article is on Tara Sundari, an actress, and the chapter is Tara Tells Her Story. Tara Sundari, the beautiful Tara, was one of the greatest actresses of Bengal during the first quarter of this century. Once Holy Mother Sharada Devi watched Tara play the title role in the life of Ramanuja, went into Samadhi, and when the performance was over and Tara came to pay her respects to Holy Mother, she embraced and blessed the actress. Tara was trained for the stage by Girish Chandra Ghosh, who was one of Sri Ramakrishna's foremost householder disciples. Tara Sundari had visited Belur and met Swami Brahmananda, a direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, who is also called Maharaj. She says, Maharaj went to the theatre to see the play Ramanuja, and Tara took the part of Ramanuja, the famous philosopher, as a young boy. After the performance, I took the dust of Maharaj's feet. Maharaj blessed me and said, Very good, may you grow in devotion. The days passed, I was restless as before, burning within. I could find no refuge, no peace anywhere. Everything seemed empty. I started on a pilgrimage to Puri, longing to see Lord Jagannath. On my way, I stopped at an inn at Bhubaneswar. There I learned that Maharaj was then staying at Bhubaneswar monastery, so I went to visit him. He welcomed me with the same solicitude and affection as before. He said, Oh, you look so tired. Why did you come in this hot sun? Where do you take your meals? From tomorrow onwards, come to the mutt for prasad every day. What do you like to eat? Well, daughter, of course you realize that we are monks and can't provide a feast, and delicacies can't be had in this little town. In this vein, Maharaj spoke to me. I was surprised. What kind of a holy man was this? A worldly man would not feel such concern for his sons and daughters. Who was I? Where was my place in society? Down below. I had nothing to expect from the world but hatred and indifference. I had no friend, no relative. This big world seemed to me like a stranger's house. Nobody talked to me without a selfish motive. Nobody looked at me without a selfish desire. There was none in this world whom I could call my own until today. Swami Brahmananda, the spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna, the all-renouncing sannyasi, revered and respected by all, that is Maharaj. And with that, and with what undeserved care and affection he made me his own. I never saw my father. He died before I was born. I thought to myself, is this what a father's affection is like? Or is this something greater? I could not hold back my tears. My lifelong sorrow melted as the tears fell from my eyes, and I realized, here is my refuge. Here is someone whom I am not a sinner. I am not an outcast. I am the daughter of Maharaj. He who has none is Maharaj's own. He is my Maharaj, my father, my heaven, my peace, my God. What peace I found. Maharaj said many things, I can't remember them all. But what I remember is my treasure in this life. He said, Daughter, you know what suffering there is in this world. Don't think that we have not experienced any suffering. When I came to Sri Ramakrishna, I was a young boy. I was practicing spiritual disciplines. But my mind was not always tranquil. I was restless. And there was the attraction of the world. At times I thought my life was in vain, for I found no peace. One day I was thinking along these lines. I decided that I would run away and not even say goodbye to the master. When suddenly I found him standing before me. He said, What are you worrying about? He placed his hand on my head and blessed me. Where was suffering now? What bliss! What bliss! I burst out, Father, my suffering is greater. I cannot bear any more. I run restlessly here and there. Take away this suffering of mine as Sri Ramakrishna took away yours. In a tender, affectionate voice, Maharaj said, Call on Sri Ramakrishna. He was born for this purpose. You have nothing to fear. Chant his name. For a few days it will be difficult. Then he will do everything for you. Have no fear. You will realize great bliss. You will know what fun life can be. We had read in books how Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda came to earth to save the fallen ones. Today I have had such an experience for myself. The infinite grace of Maharaj, as if Maharaj had come for sinners like me. There is nothing to fear, daughter. What fear can there be for Lord's children? What words of hope, what consolation. Maharaj seems to be extending his arms to us, saying, "Come all ye fallen ones, come all ye who are suffering, take refuge in the Lord. He is. Have no fear." Here's
Now a short period of meditation. Good morning, friends. The Eternal Companion. Many of you must have seen the book, The Eternal Companion. It's a beautiful book on Swami Kripamayananda. There are many reminiscences and conversation with Swami Kripamayananda. When we joined the order, we were asked to read a few books. One of them was Eternal Companion. It's so important. All spiritual guidelines from a great teacher, from Swami Kripamayananda, to his disciples, very relevant to every spiritual aspirant. So the topic choosing Eternal Companion, why the book is called Eternal Companion. Is the book Eternal Companion for our life? That could be one name given to the book. Or the messages there are Eternal Companion, spiritual advice is there. Or it may mean that Swami Kripamayananda was the eternal companion of God, of Sri Krishna, as we know from his life, that he came with Sri Krishna as a cowherd boy, and also he comes with Sri Ramakrishna. Also he will have to come as, whenever God incarnates, he will have to come as the companion of God. So he has to come as a companion with God in every avatara. So eternal companion of God, Swami Kripamayananda. Whatever the meaning of book you may make out, eternal companion for us, the book for advice and guidance for our spiritual life, or Swami Kripamayananda as eternal companion of God, or God as our eternal companion. Always there. He is our friend in our life, and when we die, he is our friend. When we die and go away, then also he is our friend. We are always with God, inseparable with God. The separation from God is just ignorance. So we are eternally with our eternal companion, that's God. So in many ways we can understand the word eternal companion. For the time being, as I also think that the name of the book written by compiled and edited and written by Swami Kripamayananda, disciple of Swami Brahmananda, who was the founder of our center in Hollywood and its sub-centers, the center called the Vedanta Society of Southern California, with many sub-centers. All were done by the grace of Swami Brahmananda and done by his disciple Swami Kripamayananda. So literally, what I think he gave the name of the book to mean that Swami Brahmananda is the eternal companion of God. As God, whenever comes as incarnation, Swami Brahmananda comes in different forms. As he came in the form of a cowherd boy or Rakhal, during Krishna's time, he came as this Rakhal Chandra Ghosh, his pre-monastic name, in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. When some religion has to come, there are two forces are needed to endure one enterprise when new idea of a religious idea has to be put. One is to make the enterprise healthy and dynamic, for its growth and for its firmly being rooted. One is the power to spread it around, another is the power of consolidation. It has to remain firm at the place and it has to spread its branches all around. Without that, enterprise doesn't survive or doesn't grow healthy and dynamic. So this is true for any enterprise, any organization, and more so for religion. When the religion has to be brought anew, then there is need of someone who brings that forth, like Sri Ramakrishna brought that religion. Not new religion, but the same eternal religion, and giving a new shape suited to the new modern times. And that needs to be spread around. Also firmly that idea that Sri Ramakrishna gave to Sanatana Dharma or eternal religion. The Dharma itself, Hinduism is called Sanatana Dharma, eternal religion, which is ever there. So that two things are needed. To spread the message of Sri Ramakrishna, the message of religion, message of spirituality, Swami Vivekananda was chosen by Sri Ramakrishna. He is foremost disciple, as was Saint Peter for Saint Paul and Peter for Jesus. So that's how Swami Vivekananda spread the message all around. He traveled to different countries. When monks were not allowed to travel across the ocean, it was a taboo for a monk to cross. They used to call it Kala Pani, black waters. Whoever goes there, he becomes defiled, impure, and one should not cross. That was somehow this type of narrowness had come in the eternal religion, which was meant to give light and guidance to whole humanity. This Vedanta was just confined to a small group. And Swami Vivekananda was meant to bring that Vedanta from the forest, from a localized thing, to spread it all around to the world, to whole humanity. That was the spread of religion that was chosen by Sri Ramakrishna to bring that message to whole world. Sri Ramakrishna wrote in a paper, he hardly used to write. He wrote in a paper, Naren will teach when he will give a call at home and abroad. That he wrote in Bengali. Noren শিক্ষে দেবে যখন ঘরে বাইরে হাঁক দিবে. That was Sri Ramakrishna's written message, mandate to Swami Vivekananda, who never knew his role about what role he had. He just thought he's a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna and want to experience the spiritual depth, the bliss of spiritual depth, the samadhi, the nirvikalpa samadhi. That was his goal that he has made. Sri Ramakrishna said, no, you have greater role. You have to be like a big banyan tree and you face yourself the scorching sun and give shade to the people who are weary of this world, tired, and you have to give that. Swami Vivekananda came to the West and he gave the message from the platform that the whole world would listen. That was the spreading of the message. Now who would keep that message firm to the ground? If some message is just spread, it becomes shallow and dries away. It has to dive deep at one place. It has to be consolidated. That one, the responsibility was given to Swami Brahmananda. And who gave this? Sri Ramakrishna himself gave. Sri Ramakrishna once said, The Rakhal has in him the capacity to rule a kingdom. While conversing in Kashipur, he said, Swami Vivekananda was so alert in understanding the words that came from Sri Ramakrishna's lips. So he said that means Rakhal has a greater role to head our organization when it will be built in future. So Ramakrishna Math was already built. Sri Ramakrishna said to Narendranath, see that all you live together in the spiritual practice and don't go away and from here and don't fritter away to your own household duties, but live together, be monastics. Practice spirituality. From that, there's so much spiritual power you have to generate to deluge the world. That was Sri Ramakrishna's vision and mission. And who will do that? He chose Swami Vivekananda as its leader for that. And who would be firm to the ground, make it deeper? He chose Swami Brahmananda, Rakhal Chandra Ghosh, and said in the meeting, just talking, Rakhal has the quality of a ruler. Narendranath understood. And after that he started calling him Raja. From this day into his band of his friends, Sri Ramakrishna disciples, young group, he said, from today we'll call him Raja, King. And that's how Swami Brahmananda being known in Ramakrishna order as Raja Maharaj. He's a pre-monastic, others are called in pre-monastic names. In India we generally call in our pre-monastic name, first name, and then we add Maharaj for the monk. That is a system that we do in northern India when monks live. And Uttarakhand is the name of the place, big area, Rishikesh, Haridwar, Uttarakanshi. And there are many monks live, monks of many orders, they live there. So there they address the monks as Maharaj. Maharaj means a great king in there, literally, but that's how they are addressed. But Raja Maharaj, or sometimes Raja Maharaj used to be called as Maharaj only. That he is the Maharaj. As for example, in Ramakrishna order, Swamiji, when it says a Swamiji, he is Swami Vivekananda. Not every Swami like us. Here we say loosely Swamiji to the monk. But in India, in Ramakrishna order, Swamiji, if he says us, it is Swami Vivekananda. Otherwise, who is another? Other person is Krishna Prasad Swami, Ramchandra Swami, like that. Some Ram Maharaj, Krishna Prasad Maharaj, Ramchandra Maharaj, like that we can add Maharaj to say monastic member. So, Raja Maharaj became Raja, leader, he is there, Swami Vivekananda understood. Like that, once Sri Ramakrishna said, Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva. Nobody understood what does it mean. Swami Vivekananda, he said, that time Narendranath, not a monk yet, and he said, I have heard such a great message. If time comes, I spread this message all over the world. Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva. Serving the humanity, seeing them as veritable representation of God, knowing them to be God. That I heard such a wonderful message from Sri Ramakrishna, and he indeed spread that message. And he made, when he established the Ramakrishna order of monks and householders together, he gave the ideal that he learned from Sri Ramakrishna, that Atmano Mokshatam Jagat Hitaya Cha, for the service of the humanity, seeing them as God, it is Shiva Jnane, how to serve, Jagat Hitaya, how to do, seeing every human being as the representation of God, seeing Shiva in every jiva, and then that would be your practice for a spiritual freedom, emancipation, salvation, Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva. So that's what Swami Vivekananda was keen. Every word he understood. Sri Ramakrishna used to go into Samadhi, and once he said to the Divine Mother, Mother, I feel like I need some companion, companion. I need someone just like me, pure, spiritual, just like me. That was his saying. Who will be like him? It is very difficult to find a person like him. And one day, Mother Kali comes to him and puts a child in his vision. He says, puts a child on his lap. And he says, here is your son. Sri Ramakrishna, my son? I am a monastic, I am a monk. How can I have a son? No, not son in that sense, worldly sense. But he is your Manasa Putra, your spiritual son in spiritual relationship. So he will be with you. So Sri Ramakrishna saw that vision. After that, one day he was just looking at the Ganga, and for him he just felt that it is Yamuna. And he saw Krishna there on a full-bloom lotus. And Krishna was there standing. And after that he saw there another lotus coming near it, and in that was a boy. And he saw the face of the boy, and that was the Rakhal, that Krishna's companion, the cowherd boy. And after that, one day, this Rakhal Chandra Ghosh, he was born in 1863 on 21st of January. 21st January, just yesterday was English calendar date, and tomorrow is his Tithi date. Swami's birthday we celebrated on 14th January this year, according to Tithi, and according to Tithi, Swami Kripamayananda's birthday is tomorrow, 23rd January, just 9 days after Swamiji's birthday. So he was only 9 days younger to Swami Vivekananda. And when he came with one devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, who was his wife's brother actually, and he saw him and he introduced Rakhal Chandra Ghosh, Rakhal, Krishna's Rakhal. And later on Sri Ramakrishna said, as soon as I saw him, I understood, recognized him to be that boy who was with Sri Krishna in my vision, in my trance. I had seen that. So Rakhal was Sri Krishna's companion, now Sri Ramakrishna's companion. Rakhal was very highly seen by Sri Ramakrishna. He was very meditative, like Swami Vivekananda was meditative from very young age. When people were of his like a little boy, they would to play meditation. Now people play like they play cricket or tennis or baseball. Swami Vivekananda also played football, and they say he also played cricket. But his with friends he used to play, let us play meditation. That was his playing. So all were sitting for meditation, and Swami Vivekananda as a boy, he used to go deep into meditation. That was his power of meditation. They were all Nitya Siddha. Sri Ramakrishna says, Rakhal, Naren, they are like the flowers who bear fruits first and the flower later. If you compare fruit as the fruit of spiritual practice, flower as the fruit of the spiritual practice, flower as the spiritual practices, then first realization, then the spiritual practice. That pure and accomplished were these all many disciples. He put all these who were spiritually very adept from very birth as Ishvara Kotis. They are not the Jiva Koti, they are not like ordinary human beings. Among them was Narendranath and Rakhal or Swami Brahmananda, Niranjanananda, Yogananda. These were all there, like Ishvara Kotis. So he was Ishvara Kotis, very adept in meditation, like Swami Vivekananda. So he was born in a village called Shikra Kulindram, not very far from Kolkata. And he was born in a very rich family. In fact, Radha Mara was the richest among the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. He was the son of a landlord. But as he was very interested in spirituality, religion and all that, so he was very good in studies. He used to come first in his school, in his village school in Shikra Kulindram. His father saw a great bright future of him, and he put him in the city in Kolkata. He brought him and put him in a school. And then he was very healthy also, well built. He used to go to exercise, kusti and akhara, that thing, physical exercise that way. Like we go to gym nowadays, they used to go and play like wrestling. That was very good pastime to have the good body. And they used to do sit-ups, and that's got done better. There's a local physical exercise that we do, like we do treadmill and cycling and rowing like that. They used to do that in the village. So he was doing that, and luckily Swami Narendranath was also one of them. They met there, and they became friends when they were just in school. And that friendship remained until Narendranath passed away, until Swami Brahmananda passed away. So that great friendship were there. Swami Vivekananda used to write wonderful letters. If you read Vivekananda's letters, you'll find letters written to his disciples in Chennai or Madras. Wonderful instruction how to start the work of service to humanity. That was his passion. How to serve the human beings. How to raise their situation physical, mental, spiritual, all has to be evolved, that we should put ourselves into the service of humanity, and that will be the worship of God. Swami Vivekananda writes many letters. Writes letter to Swami Ramakrishnananda, Shashi, and very beautiful instruction about him, addressing Dear Shashi. But he wrote letter to Swami Brahmananda also. In that letter, he would address Swami Brahmananda as Abhinna Hridayeshu, inseparable heart. Oh, my dear inseparable heart. That was to Swami Vivekananda's address to Swami Brahmananda. He felt so close to Swami Brahmananda. And Swami Brahmananda was also very understanding of Swamiji's plans and thought and his mind. Very deep he could understand. When Swamiji came to the West and felt the need of founding an organization, monastic organization, Ramakrishna Mission, when he brought that and told in a meeting to the people that I want to establish an organization in the name of Sri Ramakrishna, we'll call it Sri Ramakrishna Mission Organization, and where the emphasis will be not only on prayer and meditation, but equally on service, on seva. Then on serving the Sikhs and teaching the students, like that, and raising the orphans, like that, there will be emphasis on that. So other monastic members and even non-monastic members, they thought Swami Vivekananda had gone to the West and have some Christian missionaries doing this educational and this service, so he is importing that to our culture. It's very purely Swami Vivekananda learned something there, and he is trying to introduce that learned thing. It was not meant by Sri Ramakrishna. That was the idea, came to disciples. Even M also thought that way. And many thought. And then Swami Yogananda, as the representative of the group. Swami Yogananda also was one of the Ishwarakotis that Sri Ramakrishna had earmarked. And he came as the representative of them, and he confronted Swami Vivekananda and said, you have brought this, introduced this, imported this idea. It is not in our religion. It was never there that monks will do philanthropic work. And then Swamiji said, Brother Yogen, have you understood Sri Ramakrishna more than myself? And am I doing anything that Sri Ramakrishna didn't say to me? Do you think I will do anything deviated from Sri Ramakrishna's wishes? So he was convinced that Sri Ramakrishna used to interact with Swami Vivekananda separately in a closed door. And he said, gave many instructions to Narendranath at that time. And then all were convinced and all agreed that. But Swami Brahmananda never doubted what Swami Vivekananda is doing, that it is anyway deviated from the ideal of Sri Ramakrishna. He had that Avinna Hridayeshu, inseparable heart, dear to inseparable heart, that always Swami Brahmananda could understand, fathom the mind of Swami Vivekananda, what he is trying to put, what he is trying to establish, where he is trying to guide the organization that being infantly being established there. That all Swami Brahmananda, through his spiritual insight, could understand Narendranath, that no one else could do that way. Swami Brahmananda could do, and among the brother disciples, and Holy Mother Sarada Devi. She also understood what Narendranath is. When Narendranath was going for pilgrimage, and Holy Mother asked Gangadhar Maharaj, Swami Akhandananda, to accompany him, that take care of Narendranath, where he will go. And Narendranath is now with you, because Akhandananda had traveled a lot. He knew a lot of experience of traveling on food and other things to pilgrimage. And what Holy Mother said, here is our everything in your hands. All in all, our all in all, Amader Sarvasya Tumar Kache. Our all in your hands. That was Holy Mother's idea about Swami Vivekananda. She knew what Sri Ramakrishna saw Swami Vivekananda. That's how Swami Vivekananda was understood. And like that was Rakhal, Swami Brahmananda was, all could understand Swami Vivekananda that way. That's why Avinna Hridayeshu. Now he served. When he came to Sri Ramakrishna as a boy, so Sri Ramakrishna was guiding him spiritually. He used to go deep into meditation and prayer. But he was son of a landlord, so he has his own way. He was not made to serve like Rakhal was there. He had different role to guide the organization. So he was not groomed that way by Sri Ramakrishna to serve. So Latu Maharaj, Rakhal, was the greatest, very wonderful service to Guru that he started doing. He was the first among all the brother disciples to come. Swami Adbhutananda, Latu Maharaj. And then Rakhal was also there. And Sri Ramakrishna once said to Radha Maharaj, young boy, like 19, 20 years old, youthful, and he said, "Can you make beetle rolls?" He said, "No, I don't know to make the beetle rolls." Then he said, "What is there to know making what a beetle roll? There's the leaf, put some spices and roll it becomes beetle roll." So then Rakhal says, "No, I can't make. I won't make." He flatly refused to Sri Ramakrishna. He is staying with Sri Ramakrishna. He considers Sri Ramakrishna. What is this refusal? This refusal was the refusal of a son to his mother, not even father. So that was the relationship between Rakhal and Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna didn't mind. Then also Latu Maharaj was upset. He is asking to give you this little job and you say you can do it. How you can refuse Sri Ramakrishna? For Sri Ramakrishna, for Latu Maharaj, it was son serving it was the Dasya Bhava. So Sri Ramakrishna, any word, any command was like the order from the highest. So he has to do. How can anyone refuse the order or wish of his guru? That was unthinkable for Latu Maharaj. But for Raja Maharaj, he was more than a guru. He was his own mother. Father, mother, everything. That was the deep relationship. Rakhal was, Latu Maharaj became angry, he scolded, and then someone came and Sri Ramakrishna asked, who is the greater devotee among them? And this Ramlal. Ramlal said, Rakhal. So because he knew that how much Sri Ramakrishna loved Rakhal. Then he says, you are right, anger is Asuri, is devilish. So Latu had become angry on Raja. And the relationship between Raja and Sri Ramakrishna was not understood by Latu. Latu thought we are all disciples, he is our guru. So that was the thing how Sri Ramakrishna raised him. One day, this Raja, some prasad had come. Before Sri Ramakrishna took and it was given to the other devotees, Raja took. He felt like eating. And then Sri Ramakrishna said, who has eaten from this? Raja said, I ate. How could you eat that? I have not taken, it has not been given to the devotees and nobody asked. You have so much greed that you have to eat that. He scolded. To Raja, being scolded from the dearest person, when there is good relation, you see, where there is no scolding at all, not saying. Then little words also very become touchy. When there is someone is like always scold, then you say, oh, that person always scold, doesn't matter. When the person never scolds, never says any harsh word, and says a certain thing, oh, actually, what you did, no, I didn't like it. If that much also very heavy to bear, for Raja Maharaj it's very, very hard. He said, I will leave. He was shocked. And when he was going, he saw Sri Ramakrishna standing before him. He couldn't go, he came back. No, you cannot go, you are meant for a year. Like that he started staying there. As I said, this Raja Maharaj's father was a very rich man, and he used to live in, he was a landlord, and he didn't approve Rakhal's coming and staying in Dakshineshwar. He didn't want him to become a monk. And that's why they decided him to get married, and because he was always meditative. And marriage is supposed to bind a person in the household and will forget God and will remain involved in the world, in the net of the world, entangled in the worldliness. That's how the worldly people, parents mostly want. And they don't want their son to become a monk. One person became monk and his father said, oh, if I knew that he would become a monk, I would have not let him live like that. So he was becoming a monk was supposed to be so derogatory and would not like to go to have the liberation or freedom of soul, searching for that. Everyone should be entangled in the worldliness like I have been there. The parents, many parents think that way. So his father also didn't like, brought him and locked him, and then his father fell into a great litigation. And litigation was very difficult to win, something was there. And in the meantime, this Raja Maharaj, and he was busy in this how to solve this problem, court case, and Raja Maharaj found a time and he went back to Dakshineshwar. And in Dakshineshwar, then when he was staying, then suddenly that litigation went differently, it was unexpectedly, Radha Maharaj's father won the case, then he gave all the credit to his son being with a holy person. The holy person, if he gives something in the world, that is a good person. God, you pray and you get something of the world, then that is the living God, Jagrata Devata. And if he doesn't give only spirituality, mind, that doesn't mean that way. That's how we think that the God is the God is very alive there. Means what? Whatever you ask, the God grants. Like that, he thought that holy man has the power and Radha being there, then after that he didn't disturb. And as I was saying, that very marriage of Latu, the marriage of a Raja with a girl to bind him in the world, to remove him from his spiritual bend of his mind, brought him to the more spirituality. Because that the girl whom Raja Maharaj was Rakhal was married was from a devotee's family, Manomohan. Families. Manomohan was already, Manomohan, his mother, were already devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. And Manomohan brings the son-in-law to Sri Ramakrishna, and that's how introduction happened with Sri Ramakrishna. That's how everything was met, everything was said, everything was planned that way. After Sri Ramakrishna passed away, Raja Maharaj spent his time in great austerity, tapasya. And he went from pilgrimage to pilgrimage. He went to Puri and did tapasya, Varanasi, Vrindavan, on the banks of Narmada. And he used to spend time in meditation. In Vrindavan, he used to meditate whole night. He used to get up at night. One time he was tired and slept at night. He found someone shaking him and say, wake up and do meditation. Midnight is the best time for meditation. He used to do that. Once he was on the bank of Narmada, he was meditation for 6 days and 6 nights. That Swami Kripamayananda. Swami Vivekananda knew that Raja Maharaj cannot take care of himself when he is in sadhana, meditation. So he sent Subodhananda, another brother disciple, to accompany him. As Holy Mother had sent Swami Akhandananda for Swami Vivekananda, so Swami Vivekananda sent Swami Subodhananda with Rakhal. And he spent long time in tapasya in all these places, and then Haridwar he went, like that he did. In Vrindavan, when he was practicing austerities and tapasya and meditation, japam, all the time in that, he met Vijaya Krishna Goswami, who knew Sri Ramakrishna very well. He was also a founder of an organization of his own, great spiritual person of his time. And he said to Raja Maharaj, Sri Ramakrishna has given you everything. Why you have to practice so much? You have already attained the truth. You have attained the samadhi. Why you have to practice? By his grace you have gained everything. So Raja Maharaj said, I have got all the spiritual things from his grace, but I want to make that my own now. I want to get those established in me. For that, sadhana has to be done. Even God, when he is born as a human being, he had to do spiritual practice. That was how Swami Kripamayananda used to do practice. So detached from everything. So once he was meditating in Varanasi, and someone was seeing in the cold, one person meditating gave one blanket to him. Swami Kripamayananda saw, he was just immersed in the place, all seeing the God everywhere. The blanket was kept beside him. He didn't touch that blanket. After some time, one person comes, thief, and he slowly takes that blanket. Radha Maharaj saw that. He didn't say anything. For him, nothing was there. Only God lived. That was his way. So, after Swami Vivekananda working, when he became the head, now there was Ganga was there, and Ganga's bank has to be embanked. And to make the embankment lot of expenses. So he asked Raja Maharaj, he was looking after the president already. Swami Vivekananda had made him president of the Ramakrishna order since 1901. He said, how much will be the expenses? He gave some calculation consulting Swami Vijnananda, who was the engineer. He was also brother monk. And after when the work started, as it happens in construction, it exceeded. Now there was no money. Then when the final news came to Swami Vivekananda, he became very angry. You gave me that estimation, now you say so much money will be needed. Where will we get money? There is no money. He scolded Swami Brahmananda tremendously. And Swami Brahmananda then was too much to bear. He went to the room and started crying. And he used to scold me, I used to accept, but now today he scolded me, even my parents he scolded, my father's name. So that was Swami Vivekananda's that thing. When he used to scold someone, it was terrible. People they were afraid, Guru Bhais were all afraid to approach Swami Vivekananda when he was in Belur. So only Subodhananda, he was like a khoka, they used to say, very nature of a boy he was. So he used to go, all they would to say, go and tell that it is dinner time, ask him, Swami Vivekananda, to come for dinner, otherwise they would not to go. So like that was Swami Vivekananda's personality, such a huge work of starting organization, life is short, going away, all in the short time he has to go, he knew everything. So he was doing very in a fast speed and had no time for anything else. So he scolded and then he closed the door and Swami Vivekananda knocked there and saw Swami Brahmananda shedding tears. He embraced him, himself started shedding tears, Swami Vivekananda, and what did I say? You are so much loved by Sri Ramakrishna and I scolded you, fie upon me, like that he said. And like that was the relationship between these two brother monks. So he was president, Swami Brahmananda was president for 21 years. That is the longest ever president of the Ramakrishna order. No one has exceeded that. But his way of administration was very different from like scolding and giving orders like that. He was very approachable, very loving, and his method was a spiritual way to make people work. He used to take care of all the monks that were in Belur Math and all around, all in different centers. During his time, centers started coming up, and there was the freedom movement started coming up. Many people who were freedom fighters started joining the order. The government, the British government had an eye, and they said this: they are giving shelter to freedom fighters, so they are not pro-government or they are not fair to the government. Had a very bad eye towards Ramakrishna order. Very difficult situation it went during Raja Maharaj's time, and the centers were growing. Money was not there. Swami Vivekananda was not there. Who knew so many people? So it was very difficult time. But that's how Swami Brahmananda started administering the thing. So once one person said, Swamiji, now the center is growing. Would you like to add some more new rules to what Swami Vivekananda had made? And Raja Maharaj said, Swamiji has made our rules for us. We do not need to add any new rules. Add more love, attain more devotion, and help others to move towards the ideal of God. That is our administration. That's how he used to administer. Once there were two centers in Varanasi, Ramakrishna Mission centers. The monks had little skirmish, little problem, conflict. And the report went to President Raja Maharaj to Kolkata. He came back to Varanasi. And then everybody was a little scared. Now he called a meeting and scold us and all that. Nothing about the quarrel among them. He said, from tomorrow morning, all of us will come to the temple to meditate, to the shrine to meditate. All they started coming at 4 o'clock in the morning, about 2 hours of meditation. Where that all conflict went, he didn't have to say about how to live together or anything about the administration or living together. So that was his method of removing the problems of living together. So, and all was based on love. He used to love, Swami Vivekananda used to say, I love you so much, but I will be happy if I see you dying serving others. That was Swami Vivekananda's love for his disciples. and the fellow human beings. That he will be happy seeing his most dear disciples die working for others. And how Swami Vivekananda loved, as we heard the beautiful way how Tara Sundari, very nice reading and similar was the song. His love for a woman who was very credited for acting, but who was not respected by the society. And nobody really loved her in that sense, her situation. So that lady comes, and how Raja Maharaj treats her as his daughter. No consideration, and they felt nobody loved anyone. Perhaps even the parents don't love her children like that, as I found from Swami Kripamayananda. It was not just the words that he spoke, did you eat, was it son? That is just the words we hear. But you can feel the feeling of the one who spoke such words to a person who is not respected by the society. And that was his kindness, that was his love. He used to say, love should be that subtle, that the person who is loved should not know that he is loved. Just see the subtleness and strength of Radha Maharaj's love. That was his thing. His watchword was onward, charai veti, egiye jao, further. And he used to say, no idle talks. And he used to quote, anya vacho vimunchata. Give up false idle talks, useless talks. Atmanam vidhi, know yourself, know God. That was always talking. He was very fun-loving. He used to have a lot of fun with his brother disciples, and very loving, jovial, happy person. Once he knew the spiritual power of Swami Kripamayananda, and he said, I have to show a monk who doesn't, my friend who doesn't believe in spirituality and monk. So he thought that he will bring him to Swami Kripamayananda. So he said, let us go to a monk who don't believe. Let's see how the monk is like, what he talks, what great spirituality. You'll be surprised. And that day he brings that friend who was not at all interested in spirituality. And that friend who was like admirer of Swami Kripamayananda and Sri Ramakrishna. And that day, by chance, Swami Kripamayananda doesn't talk anything about spirituality, no word about God, and nothing about all other things. He was talking to this friend who was already disrespectful to a monk, to a spiritual person. Now, after the finish, half an hour, 45 minutes talk went, and then time to go away. Now, this friend who has brought his friend, so he was very sad. He totally misunderstood Radha Maharaj. What happened today? He didn't talk anything about spiritual matters. What my friend will think, he's already disrespectful. So he's very sad, and he came out. This friend said, oh, you have brought to me such a wonderful place. What a wonderful person he is. Then his friend says, what do you mean? What a happy person, what a joyful joy. So I have never met such person. He was so much impressed with the thing that Radha Maharaj spoke to him. If he had spoken about religion, perhaps he would not admire that much. So like that was Radha Maharaj's thing. He used to know the thoughts of the people. There were one sevak was there, one used to attend him. He was angry with another brahmachari, and he said, I will tell him that he did so much this to me. He was very angry and wanted to express his anger to that person. And that day, he was attending Radha Maharaj. So Radha Maharaj would say, take this glass and put that corner. And he just, after putting that, he wants to go out and tell to that brahmachari, his friend, that you didn't do this right thing. And Radha Maharaj then doesn't let him go. He said, oh, you have put there, this book is here, can you put this there? Whole time he was putting from this place to that place, this book, this glass, this another article, and he was not able to go out. And then he said to another, his friend, the secretary, Swami Sankarananda, he was the secretary of Radha Maharaj, and this Swami Nirvanananda was attendant, sevak of Radha Maharaj. Then he said, I am so angry with that person, but Radha Maharaj did so much thing, use this, put this thing here and after there. Then he asked, did you have something in your thought? Yes, I was angry with that brahmachari and I want to say him, revenge, I want to express my feeling to him. And Radha Maharaj understands every thought. He knew that you were going to say something. To stop your doing that, he just did it so politely, so mildly. He kept you engaged in the house, so all your thoughts are gone. That way I have experienced that. If you have to think something, And which Radha Maharaj will not know. You have to go beyond Ganga, cross the Ganga and go up and then think something. He may not know that. But if you are close to him, think something, you will know everything. Swami Vivekananda, the spiritual, all his disciples came to them to all over the world, like Swami Kripamayananda in Hollywood. He did such a big organization, single person coming, no many friend, not person known, by their sheer power of their spirituality, how people gathered around them, how the people who didn't know about even the Vedanta or Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma, very, very different type, they all gathered around Swami Kripamayananda. And there was one Swami in Swami Vijayananda. He went to South America. There he worked so much among the people, Portuguese and Spanish speaking in Argentina and Portuguese. And he started center in Brazil. Devotees came around, and some Vividishanandaji in St. Louis. Many of Raja Maharaj's disciples, they came and started center among the people who didn't know about the Hinduism, about Vedanta. And they all gathered, made the nucleus, big centers coming, big followers coming, by the sheer power of their Guru. Swami Brahmananda's grace, blessing. Swami Brahmananda saw Swami Brahmananda there in Hollywood Center. Now also they call, this is Raja Maharaj Center, devotees they call. Here Raja Maharaj lives and works, there is very much respected. So that's how Raja Maharaj's power, the power of Sri Ramakrishna that came through Raja Maharaj, the Guru, that worked through his disciples, that was his spiritual power, guiding always. Not only that it guided for 21 years, his blessing is ever there. So Swami Brahmananda used to say, give your mind to the world and it will destroy not only your mind and soul, but the body also. On the other hand, give it to God and it will contribute not only to the well-being of the mind, but of the body also. So always giving the mind to God means thinking of God all the time, and you become pure in mind and pure in body. So Holy Mother used to say, by doing japam, not only mind becomes pure, mind and body both becomes pure by repeating the name of God. It is so powerful thing. Whole our personality changes by coming close to God. In any way, remembering God by repeating His name, thinking of Him, whatever. This makes our whole personality change. Swami, how he taught his disciples, how another brahmacharis, how one should obey the abbot, the great person. That once Swami Vireshwaranand was a brahmachari, he was taking a dip in the Ganga. In Belur, because it's close to ocean, the Ganga is sometimes saline, sometimes fresh, sweet water. So he asked Swami Vireshwarananda, he had come after taking bath to taking a deep, and he asked Vireshwarananda, can you go and test the water, whether it is saline or sweet? So Vireshwarananda said, Maharaj, I tasted it is sweet. So what did I say you? I asked you to go and taste. Then he goes, Swami Vireshwarananda goes, tests water again. It was sweet. He comes back and reports, Maharaj, it is sweet. So he knew that what he is saying is true. He didn't want that the taste of water was not at all needed for him. He just wanted to instill whatever is said to you, follow totally. Don't try to use your own thought in that way. I am not interested in the taste of the water. I am interested in how much you are perfect in obeying the Guru, obeying the abbot, obeying that. That was how he taught to his disciples. When Prabhuvanandaji was a freedom fighter, Swami Prabhuvananda, who founded our Hollywood Center, and he came to Raja Maharaj with his friend, and one Swami Sadananda brought him to Raja Maharaj, and they asked him, Maharaj, can you give them initiation? Let me see their hand. He saw the hand of Prabhuvananda, and he said, there is a little spiritual interest is there. He was very interested in the freedom movement, and he used to have a fight, the fighting thing. He was very much into that, a freedom fighter. And he says, something is there, but there is a lot of obstacles. And other person, Sadananji asked his friend, what about him? He says, oh, I don't have to see his hand. I can understand his spiritual thing. So that other friend was a little sad. Perhaps I am not fit for spirituality, not fit for becoming a monk. But later on it was known that Radha Maharaj could understand he's fit to become a monk, and joined the order and became a monk. Swami Yatishwarananda, great monk of our order, whose book is Meditation and Spiritual Life, and he spread the message of Vedanta in the West, in Germany, in the US, in many places. Swami Yatishwarananda later became vice president of our order. And Swami Kripamayananda, he later on joined the order and became his disciple, was at great company and blessing of Swami Brahmananda, and became a great spiritual leader in the West, and came and spread the message of Vedanta. Sheer power of his spirituality that was given to him by the grace of his Guru, Swami Brahmananda, the eternal companion of God, as Sri Krishna, as Sri Ramakrishna, as in every other incarnation also, he would become in different forms. So we bow down to Swami Brahmananda and pray to him to bless us so that we grow spiritually. All our dirt and dross in our mind are removed by his grace. He is Sadguru, he is the great teacher of the whole mankind. He is Lokanayaka, leader, spiritual leader of the whole world. Om Kalindi Fullakamale Madhavena Kridasaha Brahmananda Namastubhyam Sadguru Lokanayaka. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Jai Mahamai Ki Jai. Jai Swami Ji Maharaj Ji Ki Jai. Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Buddha Ki Jai. Jai Isha Musha Ki Jai. Sarvastaratu Durgani Sarvo Bhadrani Pashyatu Sarvasad Buddhimapnotu Sarvatra Nandatu. Hari Om Tat Sat. May all be freed from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. For the announcement, next Sunday is Saraswati Puja at 11 o'clock. We are celebrating Saraswati Puja next Sunday, and Friday the scripture class as usual. The next Friday scripture class is Uttava Gita, and that is the announcement. And on the next February on the 5th, there is the talk on Swami Adbhutananda. That's his birthday. Thank you for attending the class. After this, please let's go upstairs to have prasad.